Good evening, good evening. The clock on the wall says 9:35 p.m. Pacific time. We are in Oregon, Highway 58. Headed to Arizona from Columbia City or Columbus City. I think it's Columbia City, Oregon, right on the border, right on the river. About balmy 30 degrees out. I checked the radar, and it looked like it was clear up here. I didn't really want to come up here. The warm snow, but it hasn't been too bad. It was pretty slick out. Chains are required, or traction tires, so I opted for the latter. We're heavy. We have 21 2,000 pound pallets. So it's at 42,000 pound load. I like to play around with this warm stuff too much. I'm not eating high beams. Google Maps was right, though. I mean, the radar didn't show anything. No green, no purple, which is freezing rain. No blue, which is snow. And obviously it's snowing. So I was like, okay, we'll head up there tonight. But then I looked at the highway map, and Google Maps has this right here, orange. And I was trying to think, why would they have it orange when it's like not snowing, and at 41 degrees when I got off the 5 freeway here in Eugene. So we get up here, and voila, winter wonderland. We're doing about 35, 40 mile an hour. I can't see too deep. That's what the issue is. Now I can. I see those reflectors a little bit. Got behind 2 plow trucks. I had to pass them when I had the chance because they were doing like 20 miles an hour, which is fine. But I need to keep this thing rolling, and you can't let it slow down too much, or you can spin out. We do have semi-snow tires. Not associating that with semi-truck. there's siping on it, not as good as I would like, but there's siping on it. There is one tire. They ended up switching it, a factory tire, and they put on one of our ultra sipe tires, and so I have 1 out of the 8 that is actual siped tire, and the other 7 are siped pretty good, but just they don't go all the way through. I wish they would go all the way through. There's like siping in the middle of the knobby area, but then there's no, and then there's edges, you know what I mean? The ones we put on, the quality puts on, the siping goes all the way across. Allows for more flex. I hope they have signage, not that you can really read it, reading that sign right there, for downhill portions. You don't want to start going down and then realizing that you're picking up speed pretty fast. When it's warm like this, I like to go down the hill easy. I don't mind doing now, see, we're now doing 47, but I know when I can see going straight, that's where I'll pick up my speeds. And coming around corners and hills, up hills I'll go as fast as I can, down hills I'll go at a controlled speed down. But flat level ground, especially being heavy, pretty much planted. But you do have to be careful. You don't want to do any sudden movements. At least we can see now. It has stopped snowing. Chain removal area. Did I depart the lane? I can't even read the lines. I absolutely hate that thing. See, that's a nice straight line down deep. He's got the winter socks on his trucker. Didn't really need it, the chains. I mean, a lot of it's for people who don't know how to drive in this stuff. And now that we've gone through it, we were climbing in this stuff. And I thought at one point I got a bit of a spin, but I'm not 100% sure. So, but other than that, there was no spins. You know, the tires can break loose. They haven't broke loose. So, I don't remember what day it was. It was probably a Thursday. It was a Thursday or Friday last week, right before Christmas. Denver got their cold snap. The cold snap came in. I mean, the temperature literally dropped like 15 degrees in 10 seconds. Why is this guy going so slow? Look at that. Put, 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 put. No change. Anyway, so I got in the Jeep and went down south a bit in Denver, and I'm trying to figure out what this guy's doing here. I was wearing my jacket, so I just had my jacket on while I was driving, and I got pretty far south. I think I went like maybe 7 or 8 miles, and I turned around and came back, did a little shopping. Anyway, there's the rivets in the road. I was like, why hasn't my Jeep warmed up in the cab? And okay, I'm playing with the heat. I got the fan on, but I don't hear it. So I turned it on full, and I don't hear it. And the fan was not working at all. So I'm like, oh, it's probably a fuse. I'll check it when I get back to the yard. I think it was 8 degrees above zero at that time when I got back. And I had an airplane in the trunk, or in the back, the seat folded down. Fairly good sized box. And so I checked the fuses, and they're all good. There was a 40 amp in the engine compartment, and then there was a one on the kick panel of the passenger seat. That was good as well. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, I have to leave. I wanted to leave for Denver that night. Or not Denver, Grand Junction. But it was hell up there at the Eisenhower Tunnel, Vale. I mean, there was purple. I mean, stop traffic. And so I figured, well, forget it, screw it, I'll just wait till the morning and go. Beat the skier traffic. I wasn't thinking right, because the skier traffic during the weekday is nothing like the weekend, of course. Maybe on Friday, but not on, so it must have been a Thursday. Anyway, so I woke up in the morning and I was thinking, I'm like, well, maybe I'll rent a car. But I'll have to rent a truck because I won't be able to fit that airplane in the... It won't fit in the trunk and it won't fit inside. And so... there's traffic here. If that's a lane right there or not. It kind of looks like it. I think it was. Definitely want to get in front of that truck up there. I don't want to deal with. He's going way slow, which is fine, but not. this is a hill here. Is where you need to be speeding up. So anyway, I was thought about renting a vehicle, but then I have to rent a truck, and it'd be really expensive. And I got to fix the Jeep, no matter what. So I opted to just take off and leave for Denver or Grand Junction. Well, the problem lied in the fact that it was 11 below zero in the morning, and I'm fixing to go on a 4.5-hour drive, or 4-hour drive on dry pavement, and it was still a little bit purple up there in the morning, but not too much. It did clear up. And so I took off and had my gloves on, and I had 2 t-shirts, 1 t-shirt and a long sleeve shirt, and then had my hat and then my hoodie from my jacket on, and proceeded to go. And as long as I was driving like 70 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, it wasn't too bad. I was getting that residual air from just moving, that it would get a little tiny bit of heat, just barely anything, but enough to keep the window clear. And so I was cruising along, and then all of a sudden we come to a scratching halt right there at the tunnel, westbound, Eisenhower Tunnel. And I was just like, man, this is BS, and what's going on here? And it's like, oh, Loveland Pass was closed. Maybe they closed it down for a little bit, and then they'll open it up to let tank, they'll close it, let the tankers go through, and then they open it back up and let the cars go through, keep the tankers off to the side until they get a few of them, and then they close it again. Well, this wasn't happening, so I was there for like a half an hour, moving a little bit here and there, and then we came to a complete stop, and I was admiring the guy next to me in a t-shirt. He had a company truck, F550, something like that. And it was 4-wheel drive, I found out later, but anyway, he was hauling alcohol. So he was a liquor distributor. And after a bit, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him if I could sit in his passenger seat. And it got to the point where I almost like I had to ask. So I asked him. I waved my hand around and got his attention. I rolled the window down and I told him, I go, hey dude, my heater quit working. You mind if I sit with you for a bit until we get rolling again? And he goes, oh yeah, no problem, come on. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So I went over there and it was nice. He cranked the heat up for me a bit, and then I don't know how much longer I can handle this. was. He cranked the heat up for me a bit, and then traffic was sitting there for a while, and it rolled a little bit. And I go, well, let me get in front of you, because I was in the hammer lane in the Jeep, and then he was in the travel lane. I go, let me get in front of you right here, and then if we stop again, I'll just come hopping back in again. He goes, sure. So we drove a little bit, stopped. Nothing was moving, so I hopped back in. And then it went probably about a half an hour. So we sat there and shot the BS for a little bit. And then we got to rolling again, and he was like, because we were talking, I go, yeah, I travel this route all the time. I drive for Quality Logistics, and sometimes I film stuff like this, on my YouTube channel. And then he was all like, as I was leaving, he was like, oh, hey, what's the name of your YouTube channel? And I go, oh, it's Riding Shotgun, kind of like what I'm doing right now. He starts cracking up. He goes, man, I can't forget that. And I go, right? His name was Rocky. If you're watching, Rocky, thanks again. That was very cool and awesome of you. I appreciate it. So anyway, I was going to get to Silverthorne and then go in and buy a portable heater that plugs in a cigarette lighter just to get something. And as I got down to Silverthorne, I started thinking, and I'm like, you know what? I better not stop, because they will crash going down Vale. I'll be stuck again. And so I said, forget it. Maybe I'll hit a Walmart in Rifle or something. And I hate being around all these cars, really, really do. This guy keeps on going slower. Anyway, I wish he would just pull over if he's that afraid. Forget this guy here. Can't deal with that anymore. Anyway, so yeah, I said, forget it. I'll go to Rifle and deal with it. And then I get to top of Vale. That's my e-log telling me my time is ticking away. About 1 hour left. And so I got at top of Vale. Traffic shut down again. Accident. But I was right at the top, though. I was up there. And I actually got off at the off-ramp and then got back on. I was going to hit that rest area, but they, I forgot it was closed for construction. And then I sat there for about a half an hour, but it was in the sunshine, and it warmed up a little bit. So I get down there to Avon, and I went into the Walmart there, and it goes, oh, we're sold out of those. And I'm like, I would never need one, but I don't have any heat. So that's why I need one. And like I would, I don't, why would you need one unless you don't have no heat at all? That was my case. So I was like, well, there's another one, because I was in Avon. There was another one in Rifle. I go, oh, let me hit Rifle. And or an auto parts store would probably have one. So anyway, I got to going, and I'm like, you know what? It's starting to warm up a little bit. It ain't as bad as it was when I left Denver. So I'm just gonna tough it out to Grand Junction, which I did, made it, and kind of tough walking out of the vehicle with frozen legs. But I had to get it to my house in Junction because I could get a fire going. I got a wood burning stove in the garage. Get a fire going, and then I can solve the mystery of the non-working heater in the Jeep. And I did solve it. I watched a video where this guy he did everything backwards. He goes, I put in this, except for a blower motor. Or maybe he did. And it ended up being a relay underneath the dash. So he was like, what you should do is try the relay, then the resistor, and then, it was a switch that he tried. And I think he did the blower motor, but I'm not sure. But anyway, he goes, start with the relay, then go with the resistor, and then go from there. So I go, I'm just going to knock them all down until I find them. You know, there's 170,000 miles on the Jeep. So I'm like, well, if I replace a part and it doesn't work, that's okay, because I don't have to worry about that. It'll be a new part, and I don't have to worry about it going away or failing again down the road. So I replaced the relay, nothing. So I went back to the auto parts store and I go, hey, do you have a resistor? Kind of looks like this and stuff. And he goes, yep. And he pulls it up like that. And I go, yep, that's it. $37, I think. Or $31. Anyway. So I was getting ready to leave and I go, do you happen to have a blower motor for that? And he goes, looks it up, goes, yep, got one here. I go, if I buy it, and I'm going to replace the resistor first, and if that solves the problem, I can bring the blower motor back to you? And he goes, yeah, just don't install it. I go, yeah, no, I won't, unless I need to. So I went back there, put the resistor in, nothing. So then I look at the blower motor, and it's sticking outside the hole in the firewall passenger seat. Why am I drifting over the road like that? Anyway, so there's an air conditioning canister right in the way. You can't get that out. And so I watched a YouTube video where this guy, YouTube University, where this guy was like, you disconnect the bracket on the bottom, the canister holds the canister, and then you twist it upright, like 45 degrees from the position it's in. And then you can unbolt the 3 bolts on the blower motor and then pull it right out, kind of feed it out through that. Put something across to hold that canister at the 45 degree mark. And I was like, oh, okay. And it took him like 20 minutes to do. It was a 20-minute video. And he goes, it took me as long to do it as long as this video is. That's how long. I didn't do any cutting or editing or anything, just boom. And it took me about the same amount of time. And plugged it in and voila, heat. Like, nice. So I watched a couple other videos after that first one where the guy told me about twisting the canister. And then these other people, one guy goes, I don't have any AC, so I'm just going to disconnect it from the firewall. And so he did that, but another guy was, so you're going to have to go down and get your air conditioning taken out, the refrigerant, and then put back in. So it'll probably be a couple $100 to do that. And I was thinking, man, I'm so glad I found that first video, because it was the way to do it. definitely the way to do it. So anyway, I got to go back to Denver Christmas Eve and for a party, and drove from Junction to Denver with only wearing a t-shirt like Rocky. So then we came back to work Christmas Day. Let's see what that road's doing. My ex was having it at her house, so I went over there for a little bit. Christmas Eve, and then just went back to my truck, and then went back Christmas Day, and then I left Denver about 2 o'clock, drove till 1 a.m., made it to Idaho. And then I was getting over by Yakima, and I wanted to go to the Gear Jammer truck stop, but I didn't want to go either. There's a lot of reefers there. It's because it's farming, so you do a lot of shipping with reefer units, I guess. Anyway, and they were getting freezing rain. Road's doing. And so a little town called Granger had a little travel plaza, and I just shut it down. I had probably 4 hours left on my logs, but I wasn't sure what Snoqualmie was going to do, and I don't like freezing rain. I'll drive on this all day long before I drive freezing rain, because that's just ice. Anyway, I should have filmed that this morning when I left, or even last night, just a little bit, so I'd have something to show you. But their whole parking lot was it looked like you're driving on top of a frozen lake, just sheer ice. I talked to the girl next to me, CRST trucker, flatbed gal. She wasn't going to mess around with it either. But I go, as long as it's in the daylight where I can see better, I'll deal with it. So anyway, I left this morning about 9 o'clock Pacific time. And made it to Tacoma a little after 12, like probably 12:15, 12:10, 12:15. Got unloaded my first stop, went to my second one, and then she had me on a load going back to Aurora, picking up in that's a hill. Good. That's another vehicle. So we're now, I'm just checking to see if we're going downhill continuously or it goes back up, so I can pick my speed up. Anyway, I got done my second one and started heading south to Portland because I knew I had to get there by 3. But I was thinking, well, it's got a preloaded trailer because it's got a trailer number. So with the preloaded trailer, I should be able to, even if I'm there like 3:30, just swap it out, because the timing said 3 o'clock, like 0800 to 1300 or 1500. And so I checked again, and I wasn't on that load. I was on another load that picked up in Columbus City, Oregon. and went to Prescott Valley, Arizona. So I was like, well, I'm fine with that, but it loads tomorrow. And I was just like, well, what am I going to do? It's not in a very good area for truck stops. There's no truck stops around. I would have to go just park somewhere and then go there in the morning. But as I was driving and there was traffic and everything, I'm like, I'm close. I'm going to be there close to their 3 o'clock time frame. This other place had the same time frame as the other one. So I said, screw it, I'm going to drive straight to it. And if there's no parking around there, then I'll PC to a truck stop. I got there about 10 after 3, and they took me in. I was like, there was another guy there too. And we both got loaded. So here we are. Otherwise, I'd still be sitting there by Portland there somewhere waiting for tomorrow morning. And we got a good jump on this. And Dan sent me a text stating, take this to the Arizona yard and the Phoenix yard, and then nothing after that. I'm like, okay. This delivers on Friday. Today's Tuesday. And I'll be there tomorrow night. Is it tomorrow night? No. I'll be there Thursday afternoon. Anyway, so worked out all right, except for the fact of this. So we got an hour. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to have to stop at this other place. Hope that there's room there. Don't know if there's any rest areas. And if there's nothing here, I'll have to go, and then I'll have to PC the rest. It's an hour, and I have 45 minutes left, so I'll have to PC 15 minutes. I'm parked on the side of the road. So I'm not sure where we're going next after Phoenix, but that's where we're headed. I don't think I need my axle interlocked anymore. I did have that interlocked for the hills. Are alive with music. Okay, well, there's the truck stop. It's 7 miles. That was probably about 6 miles. There's a rest area at 9. I hope it's open. The only problem with doing these back road trucking, there's not a lot of truck stops to park at. See, we're heavy as long as we don't do anything dumb. There's no reason we can't cruise 50 miles an hour like we're doing. If we were light, it would be a different story, because you could be cruising right along and just like snap your fingers just like that. You're gonna break loose, start jackknifing. So that's why you really have to be easy with the throttle, especially when you're light. But when you're heavy, you have a little bit more, a lot more forgiveness in it. So as long as if I saw a pretty good curve coming up, I'd be slowing way down before I got there. If I saw a hill, I'd be hauling butt before I got there. And if I saw it going downhill, I would be slowing down, preparing to go down it. At the right safe speed for this type of stuff. When it's warm out, I mean it's 30 degrees, that's plenty warm. So when I was backing up into my parking spot last night, I was able to navigate the parking lot okay. But as I was backing up, I got one spot where where I was spinning out, and then couldn't move any further. And so I interlocked the axle, tried it again. Nothing. So I went forward, got going, and then go backwards again. Got that same point, spun out. I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to go further and keep your momentum going. Which third time is the charm. We got her parked in there. But like I said, it was literally an ice rink. About fell twice going in there and coming back. Going in to wash my face, brush my teeth, get some coffee. Coming back. About did the two-legged shuffle, the 2-foot slip and slide. I wish I had time to go to Klamath Falls. I don't want to deal with a bunch of paranoia tomorrow. Truckers, cars, but I don't have the time, so I just have to deal with it. Unless I can't go any further. I don't know if it's... I'm sure it's probably still snowing over there as well. I haven't checked. Yeah, that thought did cross my mind about maybe asking somebody if we got stuck in traffic. But I mean, I brushed it off. The thought came through my head, but I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Ask a complete stranger if I could sit in their vehicle. You know? And this guy's kind of like in the middle here. I know this is passing lanes. He's taken. Well, maybe he's all right. Good time for the passing lane. So yeah, I mean, like the thought, I go, well, if we get stuck in traffic and it's freezing cold out there, I'm going to have to do something. I can't build a fire in my Jeep. maybe I'll ask somebody. I'm like, yeah, right. It's an idea, but I don't think I'll be doing that. Little did I know, I'll be doing that. And I did it. I was gonna, if you're watching too, Rocky, I apologize. I didn't want to, you know, like I knew before I left Denver that my heat wasn't working. But I thought I'd be okay, and even if I didn't get in this truck, I probably would have been okay. I wouldn't think I would have been to the point of what am I trying to say? Hypothermia. So there's a pilot truck stop up here. They don't have a lot of spaces, but hopefully they have some. But looking at these trucks parked out here on the highway, I'm not going to park on the highway because somebody loses control of their car and plows into you, especially on this stuff. I don't want to be woken up that way. He's stuck pretty good. I don't know how he got into that position. I'm going to think with all those trucks sitting there that there's no parking in here. Looks like there's one over there. Oh boy, this is rough. That guy, is he stuck or is he trying to back up into that? Oh, this road is horrendous. It's all frozen ice particles. This parking lot, I called it a road parking lot. I'm sure it's probably pay to park. I should go check and see. See you in a minute. Oh, my damn E-log went into drive. I put it in off duty and I rolled up here and then it went to drive. So while I was in there paying for a parking spot, it was trying to go to on duty. So I'll probably kick on again here. I don't care. I need to keep my momentum up to get this spot. I just paid for one because I wasn't gonna hassle with it. I'm gonna leave enough room for another truck to get in. So I was like, hey, you have, that's it, spun out right there. I go, so hey, you have any reserved parking left? And he's like, oh, let's see. He goes, oh, it says I have 6 of them. I go, yeah, no, you only have 1.5 spaces left. So, I think some of these guys are in violation. I'm going to try, I think I'm okay here. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. Okay, well, we'll call that good for now. Thanks again for riding shotgun with Mountain Man Mike. Till the next time, enjoy. Peace. I hope my truck doesn't decide to start sliding off this hill while I'm sleeping. Actually, what I should do probably is turn around and nose in. I'll figure it out. It's mine. See ya.